Chapter 13. Take Me Home. 1 month before the college entrance examination, old Zhang treated us to a meal. Everyone drank heavily at the table. With 3 joyful years of high school drawing to an end, we were all filled with lingering emotions. In the end, all 13 of us, including old Zhang and old Jia, got dead drunk, rambling foolishly under the influence of alcohol. Old Jia grabbed Yang Su's hand and insisted on taking him as his adopted daughter, while Yang Su stammered in protest, "I'm a proper man." We all laughed without restraint. When the gathering broke up that night, Du Feiyu was thoroughly intoxicated and refused to take any vehicle. Luckily, her home was not far away, so I walked her home on foot. It was summer, and the night remained muggy and sweltering. Beneath the dim streetlights, I supported her as we stumbled forward step by step. Pedestrians were few and far between. Small towns were always like this, with little nightlife after dark. Most people headed home once night fell, each to their own place. What should have been a romantic moment was ruined by those damned mosquitoes. Blood-sucking pests were my least favorite creatures in the world. They swarmed around you non-stop in the heat, sneaking a bite whenever you let your guard down. Worse still, they left venom in your skin after feeding, truly the definition of biting the hand that feeds you. I swatted at the annoying bugs constantly and said to Du Feiyu, "Honey, let's just get a taxi instead." Her cheeks were flushed from alcohol, and honestly, she looked far better this way than with her usual pale, sallow face. She shook her head softly. "No need. If you don't want to stay with me, you can head home first." Strangely enough, the mosquitoes seemed to leave her alone. I had always been a natural mosquito magnet, a fact proven countless times back in my university dormitory. 4 of us shared a room, and we slept with the windows open in summer. One morning, I woke up covered in 18 mosquito bites, while my 3 roommates remained completely untouched. After that, every summer, guys from other dorms would eagerly invite me over to sleep, claiming it was to strengthen our friendship. Deep down, I knew they just wanted me to draw all the mosquitoes away. Sighing, I held my tongue. I had no choice but to keep walking, resigning myself to being a blood donor. She was in no mood to be argued with. After all, I fell silent and continued to support her. After a short distance, she suddenly pushed me away, rushed to the street lamp, and threw up violently. I thought to myself, silly girl, why drink so much if you can't hold your liquor? I hurried over and gently patted her back. Once she had finished vomiting, I pulled out the half bottle of mineral water left from that morning for her to rinse her mouth. Speaking of which, we simply called all bottled water purified water back then. It reminded me of a funny story. During a high school sketching trip out of town, I bought a bottle of Master Kong water at the train station. Once we boarded, Yang Su grew thirsty, so I handed it to him. He took a sip and froze on the spot. Trapped in a crowded carriage, he couldn't spit it out. After swallowing, he frowned and asked, "Why does this water taste like bleach?" I snatched the bottle for a closer look and cursed under my breath. It was branded Master Crazy Kong, a blatant knockoff copying Master Kong's packaging with only one character altered. What a cheap trick. A quick sniff revealed a strong chemical stench and visible impurities floating inside. That counterfeit brand truly deserved its name. Pure profit, no quality. Back to the moment. I handed her the water and told her to sip slowly to avoid choking. After rinsing her mouth, she stood unsteadily on her feet. I quickly led her to a roadside bench for pedestrians to rest. She leaned her head against my shoulder and fell quiet, while I panted heavily, drenched in sweat. She weighed well over 90 pounds, and hauling her around with my scrawny frame of 1.7 meters was exhausting. As I caught my breath, I noticed something odd. The atmosphere felt different. Her head rested softly on my shoulder, and one of her hands was gently brushing my thigh. Just how out of the ordinary was this? Normally, she would shoot me a cold glare if I even tried to hold her hand. We were inches apart right then. To put it plainly, I could kiss her in less than 2 seconds if I wanted to. Breathing in the mix of alcohol and her faint natural scent, I swallowed hard. Could this be the legendary loss of self-control after drinking? I might finally lose my embarrassing virginity tonight and step into the wonderful world of adulthood. I decided to test her reaction first. Just as my courage flared and I reached for her hand to gauge her mood, I noticed her breathing grow shaky, and then my shoulder turned damp. Wait a minute. Was she tempting me? Or was she crying? I looked down and saw tears streaming silently down her face. She bit her right hand tightly to hold back her sobs, and my heart ached for her in that instant. Noticing my gaze, she said in a calm, flat tone, "Don't look." She had always been strong and cold by nature, and this was the first time I had ever seen her cry. Unsure what to do, I simply muttered an awkward, "Oh," and stared ahead, letting her wipe her tears and snot all over my t-shirt. The streetlights glowed dimly, silence settling between us, broken only by her quiet whimpers. It felt as if the whole world had faded away, leaving only the two of us. After a long pause, she spoke softly, "You're a good person." "A good person?" I replied half-jokingly. "Of course I am. Only nice guys get bullied in this world." At the time, I had no idea what her words truly meant. She lifted her head from my shoulder and gazed up at the night sky. The stars were bright and countless in my hometown, breathtakingly beautiful. I said nothing, just watched her. For my young self, the moment felt strangely sacred and untouchable. She continued in a low voice, "Do you know, I was assaulted when I was a child." Shocked, I stared at her, wondering if it was just drunken rambling. Without waiting for a reply, she spoke unhoarsely, her voice raw from crying. "He was my first boyfriend in junior high. I was terrified. I ran home and cried nonstop. I couldn't bring myself to tell my father what had happened, but he saw my disheveled clothes and figured it out. He beat that boy badly and had him sent to the police station. Then I transferred schools and came here. I hate men. I hate all men." My mind went blank, lost for words. I had no clue how most boys would react to such a confession, but all I wanted to do was comfort her. Yet I couldn't find the right words. She stared at me for a long time, and I dared not meet her eyes, as if her gaze could see straight into my soul. She whispered softly, "I never opened up to anyone after moving here, but these 3 years have been the happiest of my life. All because of you and our friends. Watching everyone laugh and be carefree slowly healed my heart. All because of you." I fidgeted nervously, unable to respond. "You're a good person, Chways-Wafei. At first, I only asked you to be my boyfriend because I was lonely and miserable. I fooled you, this fool. I thought you'd grow tired of my cold attitude and leave soon, but you didn't. You kept being kind to me." Her voice broke into tears again. Before I knew it, I pulled her into a tight hug. She did not struggle, only wept against my chest. "For over a year, you've treated me the same, putting up with everything. You fool, is it even worth it?" I truly couldn't tell if it was worth it. I had always been the passive, forgiving type. My near-death experience in the underworld had made me cherish every living moment and fear regret. In that moment, I realized I might have genuinely fallen for her. Seeing her cry made my own eyes sting. That was all. I pulled back, looked her straight in the eyes, and said gently, "Let go of the past. As long as we're alive, everything fades with time. Trust me." She froze, staring at me in surprise. Perhaps my words sounded too profound, or it felt strange coming from someone as reckless and carefree as me. Then she smiled, tears still glistening in her eyes. Silly fool. What happened next was beyond all my expectations. Everything turned dark for a second as she covered my eyes. The next moment, a soft, cool touch pressed against my lips. Good heavens, no feeling had ever been so intoxicating. Before I could savor it fully, the darkness lifted. I opened my eyes to find her standing in front of me, wearing a tender smile. A breeze suddenly swept through, cooling the sweltering night. It ruffled her bangs, her ponytail, and her loose white t-shirt. She looked small and fragile under the street lamp. She smiled softly and said, "The wind's picked up. Take me home." I licked my lips, tasting the faint tang of alcohol, while my heart pounded wildly in my chest.